Starting the live broadcast right now. Good evening, folks. It's actually, Ollie, we're 1 minute early today, mate. It's 20:59 according to the clock on my computer. So people won't even I guess be joining us just yet. Although Linda has dived straight in. Good evening, Linda. She said, "I'll be there, Ross." In fact, ready now, Linda. There's people jumping in already. I can see people joining. We're going to give people, guys, as usual, about a minute, 2 minutes or so to join. Actually, in a minute, the email is going to go out to the email list, Ollie. So we'll give people maybe 2 or 3 minutes to join tonight. Then I'll introduce you, mate. I can see people. Wendy Walker's in the house. Andrea Watson's in the house. Hello. And Andrea's met you. So Andrea knows who you are. So the London lot, like Wendy and everybody down south, won't have seen you yet. Ollie's been to the last couple of Acts on This TV monthly meetups in Manchester, not in London, though. All right, Lowry Lewis in the house. Hope you are well. I'm going to give people, it's a little bit of a different setup tonight, guys. And we're also using a bit of software that I only use now and again. So do let us know if we're coming through loud and clear and if you can hear us okay. It might be a little bit out of sync. And, my movements might be a bit jerky because my internet connection is not as good as Ollie's because he's in some swanky apartment block with proper fast internet. But hopefully it's good enough. Shannon's in the house as well. It's Monday, start of a brand new week. Anything can happen this week. Hopefully, what we're going to talk about tonight is going to get you fired up for taking action this week on something that I know people are afraid of because I spoke about it 2 weeks ago and I've had more emails about it than anything I've ever done before in my life, and that's social media. We're going to talk about that tonight. And I'm going to make an announcement tonight as well. Those who were at the Saturday meetup will have heard us sort of air this idea, something that me and Ollie have been coming up with. But for a lot of people, it's going to be the first time they've heard about it. Wendy Walker says, still waiting for you to join us in London, Ross. I know. I need to get myself down to London. Ollie, should we go down to London one weekend and just do a meetup down there with them lot?
Let's do it. Special.
Let's do it. He's up for it. And Richard Hayler's just joined. He's in Miami. Well, he's in Florida. We should do a Florida meetup as well, Rich.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we should definitely go over there. Caitlin says, hey, Ross, followed your advice on speaking to Rachel Tunnard within regards to my project, and we are having a conversation. See what I mean? Oh, my God, this ties in perfectly. So, Ollie, right, let's just do a little intro on you. Lots of people have joined already. I don't need to wait a few minutes. People will continue to join. Ricky's here as well. Gary's here. People will continue to join. But let's give a little bit of a background on you, Ollie, why I've brought you in here. Ollie is an actor that I met through doing these live broadcasts on a Monday night, reached out to me to ask for a bit of advice on his acting career. But little did I know, this guy's like a social media guru and has been absolutely killing it in a different niche, not in the acting industry, with social media for many, many years. Ollie, give everyone a little bit of background on you, what you do, how you got into the acting industry, and then we'll talk about what we've got planned.
Awesome. So first off, let me say thank you for inviting me on the show, and just thanks to you and all the content you're putting out and keeping us actors, hopeful and that our career is going to take off and all that kind of stuff. So let me say
positivity and optimism, man. That's all we've got.
So long story short, I used to be a personal trainer. And as a personal trainer, one of the hardest things in our industry is we're basically all the same. We're all the same. We're all trying to get clients, and we're all in the same pool, essentially, of trying to get the same job. Very similar as an actor. We're all in the same pool. We're all trying to get the auditions. We're all trying to get agents and all that kind of stuff. So it's really, really similar. And I did that for about 14 years, and I ended up, I'm based here in Birmingham. I ended up having 2 gyms in Birmingham City Centre. So I basically got those gyms from the power of getting more clients from social media than anybody else. And then long story short, 2 years ago, I sold those gyms and started my acting career. And now I run a digital marketing agency, which is where I help small and medium-sized businesses grow with the power of Facebook, Instagram, and Rossi's trying to get me into the whole Twitter stuff as well.
Twitter for actors is powerful, man.
Yeah, for local businesses, it's not that good, but for individuals and influencers, Twitter is fire. So typically, I work with more brands and gyms and dental and chiropractics and stuff like that. And we've recently just started working with Ross, and we've been blowing this whole business up for him, which is going really, really well.
Yeah, basically, for many, many years, as you all know, Acton has been around since 2011, grown at a satisfactory kind of rate, but I never really sort of took the time out to look at social media in terms of really kind of like paid advertising, really like going deep on social media. I've always had a presence on Twitter, particularly as an actor. I think it's vital. Every actor should be using Twitter to promote themselves, their careers, their show reels, you know, networking. Every casting director I know in TV is generally on Twitter. Same with directors, writers, producers, like production companies. The industry hangs out there. But I'd never really looked at like in-depth tactics around growing a business and growing my own brand and also my career via the stuff that Ollie teaches. And in the last 40 days, through Ollie's help, we've basically grown the Acts on This community the equivalent of what took me 4 years in just over 40 days. So the stuff that Ollie teaches is mega, mega powerful. And we sat down after the Acts on This meetup on Saturday. Well, the first one actually about, what would that have been? Maze. And I was like, man, how can we apply these tactics that you're using and I'm now using within this business to acting careers, to be able to get eyes on people's work, whether, you know, you're crowdfunding for a short film, how can we end up allowing, you know, and getting more people to see that crowdfunder by using these tactics? How can we sell more tickets for shows? And a lot of people right now are trying to sell shows in the Greater Manchester Fringe. And I mean, we only spoke to Petch. Everyone knows Lee Petcher from, he's the guy who films all the stuff for me. We only spoke to him on Saturday. It's too late. His show starts tomorrow. But he was like, man, like, you know, we've got 60 tickets for Tuesday and we've sold, I think he sold 8 of them.
Yeah,
I was like, mate, you just told us 2 weeks ago.
We sold out.
Easily sold out, yeah. Using these tactics, you know, we could sell out. So yeah, me and Ollie have been
not just for that show. That's the insane thing about social media is that, and what we want to kind of show you and talk about is that it's about collecting data so that you can not only sell this show, but then sell another show in a month and start building a fan base of where you can literally outsell a show every single time. And then start actually getting paid for your Fringe stuff, or if it's a stuff that you're doing privately, you can start getting paid for it as well. Yeah. And it's just easy as well. That's the other thing that nobody's doing it.
I had no clue about this side of social media, and I learned it in like, well, you know, I don't know it all yet, but in terms of the stuff you showed me, it probably took us, what, 2 hours for you to go, right, do this, do this, do this. And I've gone, wow, I've basically done what took me the previous 4 years in 40 days. So the long and short of this, guys, is me and Ollie were like, right, you know what we need to do. And this the catalyst for getting Ollie on today was because I got yet another email this afternoon off a brand new member of Acts on This who signed up. And one of the first things they wrote in the premium community on the site on actsonthis.tv was, right, I'm a little bit older. I'm afraid of technology, just being dead honest with you. I'm a bit of a technophobe. I've always stayed away from social media. How important is it for me and my acting career? I'm hearing people talk about Twitter. You know, I'm hearing people talk about Instagram, getting their show reel out there in order, you know, putting their own work out there. How important is it? And I was like, right, I've heard this one too many times that we're going to do something about it. And what we're going to do tonight is answer some of your questions. I mean, we can't go into everything tonight on how, you know, this kind of stuff works, but also got a bit of an announcement. I thought, you know what's better than just doing this online? And I've never, ever done an in-person workshop before, ever in 8 years. It's something that I've always been like, look, I can just deliver these to people's homes via the internet. But I was like, this is got to be a bit more hands-on. In August, we don't know the date yet. We've not figured that a bit out. But in August, we're going to run our first ridiculously in-depth social media masterclass in person. It'll be in Manchester. It'll be a really nice venue. And it's going to be one of the most in-depth things you've ever been to. If you really want to get on top of your social media in terms of designing your profiles, optimizing your profiles, understanding really what you should be posting, how you should be posting it, where you should be posting it, we're going to do it like it's going to be like the most interactive thing, Ollie, I think, in terms of like, we're going to make people not going to be theory and bullshit and just sit you all down in a room and go, right, you can do this on Instagram, you can do this on Twitter. You're going to bring your laptops, you're going to bring your mobile phones, and we're going to actually make you take action literally there and then to show you how you can begin really growing your social media platforms, really gaining attention, and ultimately leveraging that, which we all want to do, to earn money and get more work. I mean, that's the, you know, the cut and dry of it. There's only going to be about on this first one because, and it's when I say in depth, it's probably going to be what, Ollie? We're aiming for what, like a 10-hour day?
A minimum 8 for sure. Minimum 8 to 10 to 12. These things, whenever I've done these things with my niche in the fitness industry, and these things just go on and on and on because you will fuel all the questions. And me and Ross have already said, look, we're going to be there all day. We'll happily be there all day because you're going to have so many questions. And we want literally young and old. It doesn't matter how old you are and there is no such thing as a stupid question tonight. So if you've got a question, and you might feel like the stupidest person by asking it, there is no such thing when it comes to social media as a stupid question. So please get your questions in. I will happily answer them. Ross will happily answer them. But yeah, we're going to be there pretty much all day. And the longer you stay, the more value you're going to get, obviously. But it's going to be, it's such a missing piece for actors. And that's the thing that I'm going to be thriving in. And we're going to look at some real case studies as well with current actors that do it really, really well. And how one in particular has literally just gone right to the top of the food chain in the acting industry just by doing the stuff that we're going to kind of teach as well.
Definitely, and we will literally be. I want to over deliver massively, and we'll literally just be there as long as people want us to be there. It's not one of these. There's so many workshops in the acting industry that are like, right, give us your, fucking hell, it's ridiculous as well. Like, 65 quid, and it's 2 hours. And in that 2 hours, there's a thing that kind of pisses me off a bit about performance based, because this is all practical based, business based, making you do stuff, really making you understand it. And it's all about implementation. Half the day will probably be theory, half the day maybe just be implementation. We're going, right, everybody's going to start doing this. Mm-hmm. But what I find with most workshops and why I've never ran them before in this industry is because most of them, you pay your money and then you go and sit in a room with 20 other people. You get to rehearse a script for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. And then you all come together and you perform that scene once. You might get a bit of direction on it, you perform it again, but you end up performing for 6 minutes. And then you end up spending the rest of the 2 hours watching other people. And that's kind of valuable for when you do it once or twice because you learn from other people's mistakes and stuff. Yeah. But I'm like, people are just like, there's no guarantee of any kind of return on a workshop like that. Whereas the ones that really interest me are these ones where I'm like, right, you can take back the control of your own career. You can start doing stuff that really will have an impact on what you're actually going to get back from your investment in doing that workshop. Whereas like literally, if you are right now trying to sell out a show and it's a profit share, you sell 8 tickets on day one. There ain't no one walking away with profit from that. Yeah. You sell 60 on day 1, 2, and 3. Everyone's walking away with some money.
Yep.
So I want everyone to get a return on it. So if you have, I'll give you a URL at the end. I won't send you there now because there's going to be a waiting list to get on this, and we're probably only going to be able to have like 25 people, I think, probably on the first one because I want it to be personalized, and we're going to go around and actually spend time with everybody as opposed to just be cram as many people in the room as possible and just show theory to them. We'll figure out numbers, but there is a waiting list. You can get your name on. In fact, I will give it you now. If you just go to actonthis.tv/social masterclass, just whack your name and email address and you'll get on a priority invite list. It will, the people on that list will get invited to this first, basically. So you can go and do that now if you want. But now, for the kind of rest of this time, we've got a good 45 minutes where we can just start answering any questions anybody might have on, some slightly more advanced tactics. A couple of weeks ago, I did a broadcast talking about a lot of actors. They don't really know what to put on social media. They feel that all they can post, and they have maybe they'll have like a professional page for their career, and all they can post is like their headshot that they get done once every 2 years. So they've not really got anything to post there. And then their show reel, which they might get a recut of like every 6 months. So they're like, right, I've got 2 things to post. Like I can only really make a post like every few weeks or whatever. And I was like, look, I played that video by Gary Vaynerchuk talking about documenting rather creating, which is effectively showing people and taking people on your journey as an actor. And loads of people in the community, it was so inspiring because the next day, and even that night when I finished that broadcast, people like Andrea, who's on here, quite a few of the people started like vlogging Ollie. They started like recording behind the scenes of what they were doing, sharing that with the community, and ultimately creating content that, that people will come back to see. Somebody said, oh, I didn't want to do that because somebody said a painter would never show a half-painted wall. And I'm like, well, that's just bullshit. Like, of course. That's exactly what they should be doing.
Yeah, and acting is all about the process. Like, that is the most fascinating part about acting. It's about seeing this is what I find fascinating about acting, is it's about seeing how you got into that position in the first place, how you got there emotionally, how you got there physically, and people want to see that. And that's why one of the biggest search things on, and this isn't really relatable to social media, or it could be actually, is one of the big search things is when a new movie's coming out, whether it's Chris Hemsworth or Gal Gadot, when people getting in shape for movies, people want to see those videos of them trying to get in shape.
Yep. Because
it humanizes them, and that's a big thing that we'll kind of talk about on the day. But I think we talked about it actually a lot last week as well on a one-on-one call. But it's that process is so important. But yeah, we actually had a good question by Danny. I don't know if you've seen it. Danny Malden.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I've seen Muldoon. Yeah, Danny Muldoon. Good evening, Danny Muldoon. I've missed loads of people as well. I want to say shout out to David Gallagher, Brian's here, Brockberry's here in the house, Matt's here, Rihanna's here, loads of people are here, Sharon's here, Connor's here. Huge shout out to all you. Like, if you're listening on the audio experience, by the way, and you're not listening live or watching live, where were you? Get yourself down to the next live broadcast every Monday night, 9 p.m. Gay Shepherd's in the house as well. Julie's here as well. Thanks ever so much for everyone tuning in. Janet's here. Bobby's back in the house from Ireland. Indra's here as well. So yeah, thanks for being here. So the question, Ollie, is that the one about what content will they need to prepare before the workshop?
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of give a two-time answer for that.
Okay.
So one, Ross has kind of already gone into it. Like, you should always be creating content, and it doesn't just have to be your headshot. It doesn't have to be, a show reel. A lot of it has to be personal life. And if you've planned content, like literally planned it out, then that's okay. But a lot of it has to be just at random points and great things in your life. And if you go to, say, my profile or anybody else that's worth following in social media, let's pick out, as actors, let's pick out probably the number one actor to follow is probably Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock, man. God, he kills this.
Whether you think he's a great actor or not, what he does is the business side. And that is typically what everybody's missing out, is the business side. And if you look, he literally has a set rhythm. And you could go through his Instagram. I'm not going to open it up because I pretty much know it off by heart. He will do a family post. He will do a promotional post, a family post, a workout post. And he normally sticks to some kind of rhythm like that. And again, he doesn't plan anything. He just seizes the moment, knows when it's good, and he green lights it in his mind, just like we do as actors. We green light those moments when we're on stage or when we're performing, and we think this is a great piece of content, we're going to use it, and then he'll post about it. And that's literally all that we have to kind of train you to do, and to let you know that it's okay to share those personal moments and that you will benefit from those personal moments. And that's really the most difficult bit, is just letting you know that it's okay to do these certain posts, whether it's with your wife or your husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, whether it's, with your kids, if you don't mind having your kids on social media, just all these little things. These are the actual posts that start building the attention. And then when we put the show reel in, or when we put the headshots in, that's almost the promotional part that we actually start to benefit from it. So it's a more complicated way of saying it. But the easiest way is create attention, and then, as me and Ross like to say, is jab, 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 right hook. So lots of good content, then ask for something. And that's literally social media in a nutshell.
I think why it's important to mix as well. I've never had a social media profile that's like separate to myself. A lot of people are like, oh, but I've got to have an actor page. It makes me look professional. I think like casting directors and people I know in this industry really want to know what you're like as a person as well.
Yeah.
And what you do outside of your acting career really can impact what you do inside your acting career. Some of the most exciting and interesting actors I know have side hustles in completely different industries, completely different niches that give them real, like, unique qualities that, for certain roles where they go, oh my God, well, that person there, it could just be a random thing that, you go, right, okay, well, this person also runs some stables. So they're around horses all the time. Right, we've got this new period drama, requires loads of work with horses. Right, going to bring them straight in because, that's what they do. People who, Dan Gillings, I was talking to him the other day, he was in the police for a long time and then moved over into acting. He'd had quite a few of his things. He posted his picture of him when he first got his police uniform on and all that kind of stuff. Was brought into Scott and Bailey as a policeman because the guy just knew, legitimately what it was like to work in the police. Ended up with a great role in Scott and Bailey. Had he just been keeping his entire life separate and then just an actor page with a boring, it's not boring a headshot, but it is really. Once you've seen one headshot, you've seen more.
It is boring. It's the same. And the other thing is, we already know what you look like because of your profile picture and probably your header post. And as you were speaking about that stuff, I was kind of thinking about it. And this is why I love these lives and these random conversations that me and Ross get into sometimes about social media. Is I'm a method actor, right? So everything I do is about what I felt previously, right? So it's all I think about is like, when was the last time I felt like that? And if I'm doing a scene, and then I wait for these moments to emotionally to come to me, and then I'll basically relive it, right? It's the same. This is the same thing with your things that you do day to day right now. So literally the same as what Ross says. If you are a horse rider, you need to be doing posts that you're enjoying, cleaning out stables, riding the horse. Or if you go to, I don't know, like jujitsu or karate or boxing or
definitely,
or football, or like all these things like make a massive difference. And if they can see, like, people don't want to hire pretend people, because it looks pretend. It then is acting. People want to work with people who are in that already, because then they know that when it's on film, on screen, it's authentic, it's real. And that's what they want. And that's all we want really for you to start doing on your social media. It's not to be fake, not to be any of these fake people on Instagram. And we're not trying to get you to fake it before you make it type thing. I just want
bullshit.
You to be,
worst advice in the world. Worst advice in the world.
Yeah, I just want you to be you, the real you. Like, if you love, if you're a stand-up comedian, like, put your stand-up comedian stuff up there. If you love, just you're a stay-at-home mom, do stay-at-home mom stuff. Like, it's whatever you are, that's what we've got to get out. And
if you're building, I was going to say, if you're building a side hustle as well, and there's a few people here who are building their own businesses alongside to free them up so they can invest more time in their acting career, document like the side hustle as well, the business. That's really, really interesting. And also when you're talking about just, showing skills and stuff, a casting director the other day I was talking to was casting an advert for a new computer game that involves skateboarding. They weren't looking for actors to act like they could skateboard. They were looking for actors who could really skateboard. We were trawling whilst I was sat with this person having a coffee, looking through actors' social media profiles that had been submitted, where they were documenting them at a skate park on Instagram. Really cool videos of them doing tricks and stuff. Had they not put those on, it would have been a lot harder. You go, oh yeah, I can skateboard. Well, have you got anything you can show me? Well, no, not really. Oh well, pointless then.
Yeah,
and need to see it.
If you ever doubt what Ross is saying and this stuff, he's sat with a casting director on the phone looking through social media. I employed 5 staff, right, for my gyms. And I don't know if this, because of GDPR, if those who know of what that is, I don't know if this is legal now and whether I would get away with it. But essentially, there's nothing wrong with it because it's public profile. If I had a CV that come through to me, what do you think I looked at just their CV? Absolutely not. I went to their Instagram. I saw if they were talking fitness, if they lived fitness, if they were boozing every night, how they were talking to people.
It's so good, mate. I do it all the time. Yeah. So part of, you might have seen, guys, part of this whole social media push that Ollie's been teaching me, you might have seen some sponsored adverts that I've been running on Facebook and Instagram, basically for that Twitter list of 33 casting directors everybody should be following on Twitter. Really useful, legitimate list. If you want to get it, Facebook, just go to actsonthis.tv/Twitter. Drop your email address in, you'll get it sent to you instantly. Just click the buttons on it and you'll be following instantly like the major players in casting, in TV anyway, on Twitter. Most people leave comments under that advert like, great, really valuable, thanks so much. One guy just left, oh, do fuck off. I was like, like me maybe 5 years ago would have been rattled by that. These days I just kind of laugh at it. But what was the first thing that I did? I went, right, okay, hurt people. This guy's clearly in pain, right? I'm going to try. This guy needs more love than the people who are leaving nice comments. What did I do, Ollie? I went to his social media profiles and I looked him up and I looked to see what he was doing. He was an actor. He was down on Facebook as a self-employed actor. He was a singer as well. But I had a look at exactly what he was doing, what he was posting, to try and figure out why he wasn't in a good place. Because someone who's working is happy in their life doesn't take in someone else's content and then have time to go, oh, fuck off on it. I've never, ever, ever once left a negative comment on any piece of social media because I don't want to bring any negativity into my life. If I don't like it, I just scroll past it. But I checked that guy out, and then I'm looking at his social, and I promise you, other people in this industry do it. Gary here is a writer. He just said, we looked at actors' Twitter when they auditioned for my play. I promise you, this is becoming more and more and more of a thing. Jason Broderick put an article out the other day on his blog, talking to a casting director about how she uses Twitter to cast people. And she's like, look, our decisions aren't made off your social media following. Of course they're not. It's not like, okay, right, you've got 50,000 followers, we'll put you in a play, put you on TV. If someone else is better for the job, they will go for the person better for the job. But, there are producers and stuff who really, it does go away towards whether you're involved in that project, and also what you're putting out dictates whether, if you're putting positivity out and really good stuff, whether people want to employ you in the first place, no matter how good you are. But it is just about, honestly, it's only going to become more and more of a thing, which is why now I think is a perfect time to really dive deep on it and just give you more value than anyone else in this industry, and more knowledge than probably anybody's got, to be honest. Brockleberry says, oh, go on.
We live in such a digital age now, and all you got to look at is that, like, what Apple TV are going to be doing. They're doing their version of Netflix. Disney's doing their version of Netflix. Netflix doing Netflix. Like, it's just going to be pure digital. So it's obvious they're going to look at the digital side of things, the digital version of us, and it's just going that way. There's nothing you can do about it, and you either kick and scream about it and don't join the crowd, and get left behind, or you join in and start doing what needs to be done to get the attention.
Yeah, honestly, life is about alternatives, and you can turn your back on this stuff and go, right, I don't want to get involved with it. It's nonsense. It's not for my generation. I'm too old. I'm whatever. You will just hurt yourself in the long run in terms of it's not going anywhere. There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter are not going anywhere. Brockleberry says, I've always posted to show as close to a real slice of life as possible. Casting directors and directors and producers want to know what you're like outside of your acting life. Would they want to go for a beer with you, or are you just a twat? Yeah, I agree with that. I'm sure I have got jobs in TV off the initial chat that I have with the casting director and the director, because the parts haven't been particularly massive in some cases, and they're just going, you know what, he'll just be a good laugh to have on set. Your social media is a reflection of what you're like in real life as well. People will check it, and I just know that because I do it. It's the first thing that I do when I know I'm going to be working with somebody, whether they're known or not. Go and check out what they're like on social media, and I'm not the only person who's going to be doing that. Like, people in the production will do that. It's got another comment here saying no one wants to spend 3 months on set with someone with absolutely nothing going on outside of work. Andrew says, brilliant. My friend told me I was putting too much personal stuff on Instagram. No, I think it's fine. I think the balance is right. I think it's like, in terms of, you don't want all personal or all work. But I think to show a rounded view of yourself and to humanize yourself, like Ollie said before, is really important. What questions? Let's give people like actionable stuff. Sharon's just joined the mailing list for the workshop. Awesome. Anyone got a link to the workshop, struggling to find it? Connor, just go to actonthis.tv/social masterclass. actonthis.tv/social masterclass. Could someone drop that in the comments for us, maybe? Oh, I think I can do it. Look at that. That's how I don't use this software very often. actonthis.tv/social. I mean, this one, no doubt, will like fill up really, really quick. But this is kind of like the beta version. This is the first time we've done this. So if anything, you get on this first one, you're probably going to get more value than ever, because we're going to be spending a lot more time, because we're going to be like, this is the first time we're going to have done it.
Shall I give an absolute ninja tip that might kind of like, it's not vanilla, let's put it this way. It's a bit of a...
You do that, and then we'll get some questions from people on, like, I just want to give you actionable stuff where you're like, right, I want to do something tonight, or I want to do something tomorrow. Ask us what, like, any questions you might have. They're no stupid questions. Just about, like, growing your influence, growing your following, adding value to your followers. Anything that you might want to know, getting attention with your show reel, with your headshots, different tactics, how you can do that. And we'll just try and, give some value. But what are you going to say, Ollie? What's a ninja tip for tonight?
Ninja tip is, so Facebook is a pay-to-play platform, whether we like it or not. And what we mean by pay-to-play is, if we want to get really quick attention and viral, basically what we've got to do is we've either got to use a fan page. So that's where you have like for my fan page would be Ollie Reynolds. That's my fan page. It's more business stuff at the moment rather than acting stuff. And there's a reason for that. It's because having a fan page is overrated. All right. So from the interviews that I've watched Ross do, knowing that some of the top casting directors have said they will not check out a fan page. And if they do, if you link it, they might go and check it out, but it's not really the thing they're looking for. Everything
They've got your spotlight for that.
Yeah,
like, they want to see your headshots in real.
Yeah, but the thing that you've got to make use of is your personal pages, your personal page. So I see so many people that, and this is just me being around the acting game in a very short amount of time, that still post and still use their fan page as the main thing that they think that people are going to check out. And unfortunately, because of this pay-to-play type platform that Facebook is, and Instagram will be there one day, what's typically happening is that when you do post on that page, right, out of, let's say you have 5,000 fans, you are literally going to be hit maybe by 5 to 6 people, of which maybe you'll get 1 to 2 likes. Therefore, the algorithm, the thing that is going to make sure that you are top of the news feed, isn't going to anywhere near be beneficial for you. So, and you'll notice this work that we've been doing with Ross is that the stuff that he posts on his fan page only works because he's already got prior attention. And that was before the pay-to-play platform came into case. So using your personal pages is where you are going to see the benefit. So again, obviously we'll talk more about it on the workshop, but we want you to make sure that you are starting to produce content or document content and put it out there. And it's things that, not just your headshot, not just your show reel, those are the right hooks, the jab, right hook. And that's a great book if you want to go and read it, by Gary Vaynerchuk. Jab, right hook. That basically means give before you ask. Yeah, and essentially the give is going to be post great content that you know is going to get likes. And the way that you got to think of it is it rare? Is it something that is really, really rare? And once you find out those pieces of content, what they are, and everybody's different, so I can't really give you the thing that's going to work, because I have to see you, I have to meet you, and then I'll be saying that will be a great post, or that will be a great post, that will be a great post. And this is something that the minute you start getting likes and comments and shares from it, then the attention is on you, and then we start right hooking. All right. So, but using the personal page is going to be the thing that you really need to leverage the most.
Basically, what it is in layman's terms is the algorithm on Facebook, because Facebook really is a business and it's designed to make money. If you have a Facebook page like the ads on this Facebook page, and you're not actually going to be paying Facebook for any adverts ran through that page, the organic reach, which means the reach you get from each of your posts without paying anything, is very, very poor. So there'll be about 2,500, 3,000 likes on the ads on this Facebook page, and I can put a post out, and when I look at the engagement and see how many people it's hit, sometimes it's like 65, 85 people out of those 3,000, because Facebook isn't just getting it in front of those people. What I started doing now is building my personal page and becoming friends with, lots of actors, and just ultimately, and this is something that people might not be comfortable with initially, but you've got to kind of get used to it. Is like, oh no, I keep my Facebook really private just for my family and stuff. I don't know if you're conflicted, maybe set up a separate account for that. Oh, what? Did you say something, Ollie?
Nope.
Oh right, I just heard something going off in my ear there. Yeah, right. You might be conflicted about that. Opening your personal page up, maybe create another one just for this. But then the organic reach from a personal page is a lot wider than the organic reach from a fan page. An actual like business page. So that's why Ollie's been a big advocate of that, and I've noticed that myself as I've now been opening up my personal page and just friending a lot more people within the industry, that I can reach a lot more people. And there are so many people that you end up networking with. John Bullich, I noticed, is in the house. He's a mate of mine on Facebook. You met John at the meetup. He's been working with Steve Everts and Jason Wingard on a film called Pavement at the moment. Those boys are putting out, Jason Wingard's really good at this, actually. Puts out a lot of his work. He's a great director. A lot of these, independent films and stuff that he's doing with great people, and they're turning into cinema releases. Eaten by Lions was a project of his that's now in cinemas. He's putting all of his stuff, out on his personal page, but then all the actors that he's friends with and stuff are seeing it. So whenever that guy's like, right, I need crew or I need actors for tomorrow, he puts one post out, he's inundated with people who want to get involved. If you're like, right, you know, it could be anything in your acting career. I need somebody, you know, to do the showreel scene with me tomorrow. You put a post out on your business page, 3 people see it, pointless. If you've created and nurtured a really good personal profile, you know, you'll end up with a huge pool of people and a lot more reach. But we will go into maybe slightly on this workshop the paid element of Facebook, because that's super powerful. You don't have to pay loads, by the way.
Nope. No, you don't.
You can start off at, like, you know, a few quid a day. But if you are going to be crowdfunding for a short film, or you are going to be selling tickets for a play, all that kind of stuff is absolutely invaluable. And what so many actors are not doing as well now, and again, it's more of a business thing, but if you are more of a, you know, an actor producer or an actor director, and you are putting on your own stuff in real life, so many actors are just putting on a play. They're trying to sell as many tickets as they can, and they're not trying to keep any of the data from the people who have been to their play. So they don't collect an email address from these people so they can then email them the next time they're putting on a play. You know, they don't collect anything, and Facebook has all that data available for you if you use these tactics that, you know, that Ollie's been showing me. So ultimately, you can collect all of this data yourself. You then own it. You're like, right, okay, I had 60 people come to this play. If I put another one in a few weeks, I know I can now send an email out to 60 people at least. You know, maybe 20 of them are going to sell tickets, you know, buy tickets instantly. So you're off to a great start. Actors aren't looking at anything from a business perspective at all. It's just kind of like, you know, a hit and run thing. All right, I've sold that, or I haven't sold that, you know, I won't bother in future. There's just so many of these strategies that just apply to your acting career, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just go back to the Fringe stuff as well. Like, we want to be able to, with organic side of things that I've just explained, is that this will fully work to get people paying up for any Fringe stuff that you're doing. People will pay, and it's just about attention, and that's literally all that you know, social media is that we are trying to give you attention. So then when you have that chance to go, I have this event and it's 10 quid a ticket or whatever it will be, then people, if they know, like, and trust you, and that's all this is building know, like, and trust with fellow actors, with family and friends, and even their family and friends, that because everyone likes movie, everyone likes TV. And what we want to do really as actors is try and move people away from TV for now, move people away from TV and get them out into the theatre, get them out to see your show for a bit. And we need to create compelling content in order to do that. So organically we can do that. And then this is how I teach my clients in any space really, is that we start organically. And if you can start converting and getting people bums off seats and actually coming to watch your stuff and see you, then of course when we do paid advertisement, that's really when the thing starts to scale massively.
And it's insane how people won't know here as well, how targeted you can be in terms of
it's scary
who you're targeting. So if you're selling a show at the Greater Manchester Fringe at the King's Arms in Salford, for example, that's where Petch's show is on in the next 3 days. You can go, right, Facebook, you know, say you go, okay, this show is predominantly for females, or it's predominantly for this community or that community. You know, it's really going to appeal to this kind of audience. You can go, right, okay, I want to show this advert to, I don't know, men or women, you know, or both, you know, 18 to 35. Who like this, you know, it might be for Petch, it's Doctor Who. So you go, who like Doctor Who, and who live within a 5-mile radius of the King's Arms. So every penny you're putting into your advertising is going to a warm audience. It's not like, you know, you're serving it up to some farmer in Cornwall who hates Doctor Who. You know, it's really insane how specific you can get. So you'll see, you know, the adverts that you're seeing for me, I bet everyone in there has seen one of the ones that I've been running, because I utilize Facebook's data on all you lot, so that I'm like, right, I know I can get this advert in front of the people, you know, who are really going to be interested in this kind of stuff. Connor's got a great question here. He says, look, and this is something that is so common and something that's really easy to solve. And I'll get your opinion on this before I talk about it, Ollie. But he says, look, I struggle with what content to actually upload, as I think, quote, what of my day-to-day life do people want to see? Any suggestions on an actionable task to get out of this rut and this way of thinking?
Easy peasy. So oddly enough, I had the same conversation today with one of my clients, and I just said, dude, just tell me what you've been doing. And he was like, well, my dog's injured. I was like, okay, what's wrong with your dog? He goes, well, I think it's got a trapped nerve. I was like, fucking hell, is that scary? He was like, yeah. I was like, cool, why didn't you do a Facebook Live about it? And like, basically, it's It's basically creating content. Like you're going to go on, let's say you can do a Facebook Live, you can do a post, and go and check out my profile for some examples of this. But like you just randomly start writing. And if you are not a writer, then start writing, because writing is if especially trauma or like something happens to you, like with Ross, I think we were speaking earlier about Ross was talking about what happened to him today with that comment on one of his ads. He should write an email on that. So imagine if he wrote an email about that guy. What did he say again?
Yeah, so this is something that I wanted to do, because that's why I want to talk about it tonight, is because I was like, look, anytime any of us throws our hat into the arena and actually puts ourselves out there, which is scary for people on here who have never done it before, and they're like, oh my God, I've never dared sort of post anything on social media that's not a picture of my dinner or my coffee in the morning. Be prepared for criticism, right? I also, Tony Rossi, I don't know if he's on here tonight, great actor from Chicago who finally signed with an agent tonight. I'm so happy for him. Great guy. He does a podcast called The Tony Rossi Show, which is a personal development podcast for actors in the States. It's perfectly applicable to people over here as well. And it's ultimately about, being okay with not being perfect, being okay, knowing you're enough as an actor right now, regardless of whether you've got an amazing job or not, or, wherever you are in your career. And he put his podcast out on iTunes and everywhere, everywhere else you can get it. And he got an email back from somebody, and it just said in his email, really brutal, but again, you've got to ignore this shit. It said, "Hi Tony, bit of advice for you. Listen to your podcast, and I think you should kill yourself." He said, because at least that's going to save you from waking up and living your miserable existence somewhere. And Tony's like the most positive, inspirational guy. Like that, he's basically like he does what I do on air, really, but in the States for people. And yeah, this guy had taken that amount of time, again, hurt people. He'd taken that time out of his day to actually write to a man he doesn't know, who's trying to put good out into the world and has a pure intention, and has told him that basically he should kill himself. And then it was just ironic that I looked at that advert today and some guy had told me to fuck off on my advert. My advert actually, again, is a really good resource for actors. Yeah. So be prepared for that. But I could easily go, right, I'm going to share that with everyone. And I bet there's people on here that resonates with. There'll be people on here who have been hurt in the past because they've put a showreel scene out, or they've put something out in their acting career, and someone's gone, yeah, it's shit. You're acting shit. The order's shit. The sound's shit. The picture's shit. And then you're like, well, what are you doing? It's so easy to boo from the stands. It's very difficult to be out on the pitch playing. So I really want to push people to just start putting stuff out and just be prepared for that. That's going to happen.
So basically, going back to, sorry, what was the guy's name that asked the question?
Connor.
So going back to Connor's question, it's like you've got to train your brain almost to look for the gold, sift for the gold. And you might think it's mundane or a piece of or something basically that just doesn't really stand out, but like whatever happened to you in that day that moved you positively, what made you happy, what made you sad, what made you angry, what made you frustrated. There is pieces of content, and oddly enough, I was watching a round table on the Hollywood Reporter earlier today, and there was a piece that Jim Carrey was on it, and Jim Carrey was saying that when he had really painful moments in his life, the end of that came his greatest art. And doesn't necessarily mean just acting, but like the way that he dealt with that was express himself through art, whether that was writing, painting, drawing, acting, anything. So what I'm saying to you guys is, like, okay, you're going to have your standard boring selfie with the husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend that will get 20, 30 likes, and that starts to build like the algorithm set towards you. Then you're going to have the, you go to jiu-jitsu and you do a little video at jiu-jitsu kind of thing, and that will get you 10, 15, 20 likes. And then you're in the gym, you're working out. You get your mate to film you while you're doing some chin-ups or something like that. And that will get you 10, 15, 20 likes. But then there'll come a moment where, that something like this happens today, right? And straight away in my head, because I've trained myself to know how to get the gold out of all the stuff what's that saying about lemons? Like someone gives you lemons, find out how to make lemonade. Yeah. So it's that. So literally you grab that and then you're just like, right, I'm going to literally use this, and you're going to turn it into a piece of art. And so many people will come and comment and like and share. And again, your algorithm gets bigger. Then you pounce with the show reel. Then you pounce with the headshots. And that's when the attention all goes on you. and it just becomes easy. So I don't know if that kind of helps you in your shift, Connor, but the easiest thing to do is think I'm not anything special. You are. Everyone has something. I guarantee you, if I went into your profile now, you do something that I don't do. And like, I really like to know a little bit more about you, Connor. I want to know how you do that. And that's what social media is about. Like we see all the negative side of things, and those stories of what Ross has said is, yes, they are scary, and they don't happen every day. Like what we don't want you to do is think that there people are going to come for you and do that, because that does scare me sometimes. I get insecure about what I'm posting sometimes. But that is a good sign. If you are a little bit worried, you don't really want to share something, because it means that it's not vanilla. And what I mean by vanilla is it's plain, it's boring, because if it's plain and boring, it's not really going to get anywhere. It's not rare. So the stuff that we're looking at, just like when a casting director or an agent is looking at you, they don't want plain, they don't want vanilla, they want something special. And it's the same thing with your social media.
Definitely, absolutely. And just before I forget, yeah, Caitlin, who's on here, got in touch with me today in the private community on That'sOnThis.tv, and there was a writer, director that she wanted to reach out to who had inspired her. And she was like, look, how do you think I go about getting in contact with her? And she'd sent an email to her agent. And I was like, well, that's okay. But in my experience, because this is how I initially started booking guests for That'sOnThis.tv, I would try and go through people's agents, and I get stonewalled completely. They'd just be like, no reply, or occasionally I'd get through. But I just started reaching out directly to people on social media, and particularly Twitter. And oh my God, it changed the game for me. And Caitlin was probably a bit nervous about it today, but I was like, listen, what you want to do, because she's like, I can't direct message this person on Twitter because they're not following me. So I was like, right, well, you want to send them a tweet, and you want to put, tongue in cheek, just go, hey Rachel, any chance you could follow me back so I can DM you? Nothing weird, don't worry, I'm just a massive fan of your work, just want to ask something. And from the looks of it, Caitlin just put a message here saying that she did that, and now she's in conversation with her. In terms of networking, not just putting out content and getting attention, in terms of getting, in touch with, people who can absolutely change the game for you. Again, that side of this is absolutely critical and absolutely so powerful. And again, people aren't doing it because they're just fearful of rejection. What is there to be fearful of? Oh, I can't. What if they just say no, or what if they ignore me? Well, you're in exactly the same place as you were before you sent the tweet. As long as you're not sending anything, weird or disrespectful, it's it's totally cool. Brockoberry says something really interesting here. He says, I learned a lot from other telly friends about engaging on social media when the shows you are in are airing. Really important. If you're in a show, take photographs on set. Obviously, you can't post them anywhere before that show's out. That will get you really into trouble. But take photos on set, of the set, you with the cast members, you with the director, whatever, you in your trailer with your costume on or whatever. And yeah, if you post those with the hashtag of the show whilst the show is airing, not only are you bringing eyeballs to the show, which is really good for everybody because the show needs an audience, you're bringing eyeballs to you because the audience is engaged with that hashtag. So when Years and Years was on recently on BBC One, I would put a post out on a Tuesday night, 9 p.m. going, gonna be in Years and Years tonight. Here's a picture of me on set with somebody. Use the hashtag Years and Years, and people would find that because that's what the country was looking for that evening. So Brockoberry says, a friend of his gained 8,000 followers in one evening.
Yeah.
Through doing that. It's all about eyeballs, attention, and leverage. It was an odd thing to witness. It's just real, though, isn't it? Absolutely real. It's powerful.
Yeah. And on a massive note, obviously that's where we're all aiming to be. But like bringing it down to the scale that where this current audience is at now, is that we almost want to teach you how to do that. So when it does happen, it will more than 8,000. Like that's what should be happening. Should be way more than 8,000. And just a current, like I don't watch Love Island. My wife is currently watching it.
They're getting millions. I mean, I don't want to go on it, but yeah, it is an example.
Absolutely. As an example, that is what it's like. It's like literally they will get thousands upon thousands of it's the people that were on it last year are in the millions now.
Oh, it's millions. It's 2 and 3 million after being on that show. Well, 100%. And it's not absolutely what any of us aspire to be, but yeah, it's real attention.
Yeah. And where my point really lends to is that imagine if you do a show or a film or whatever, and you're busy for 3 months of the year. I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and you want to take the rest of the year off, but then you can make a side hustle from just being an influencer. And that within itself is insane money. And no, that's not the goal at all. But at the end of the day, is that it helps pay the bills, and you'll never be in scarcity ever again. So there is a really good upside to this social media stuff. Just we want to get spotted, we want to be, we want to get cast, we want to have an agent and all that kind of stuff. But then when it does happen, we can actually build ourselves an additional income alongside of that.
Yeah, you can. You really can. And again, I'm just absolutely bullshit free. So I don't ever, don't want anyone to aspire to be an influencer or anything like that within their career. But I spoke to an actress today. This is real, absolutely real figures. Can't tell you it isn't what brand it was, but basically they were asked to do 2 days work today. They've got a relatively strong social media following because they used to be in a show, about probably 150,000, I think. Got paid 27,000 for 2 days work.
Yep.
It's real. That's absolutely, I swear on my life. Nothing cross, not trying to convince you. It's absolutely real. Also got a 15 grand deal for some photographs for another brand. And these are good quality brands. He's not like, oh, pose with our piece of shit. This person is very, very choosy of what they're associated with, and rightly so, because it's got to be on brand and it's got to fit, They're really like, look, does this look like I'm selling out? Is this legitimate? Is this for a good cause? Is it going to bring good? Yeah, is it going to bring good to the world? Would I use this anyway? The answers to that are yes. But you don't need millions of followers to make significant money. And this isn't about that initially. This is ultimately about gaining opportunity. It's not, that's way in the future. And don't think for a second you need those figures to have an impact. You only need 1,000 true fans to change your life. And you're only true fans.
Yeah, and you only need one of those people that is in the right position or knows the right person that clicks, that makes one other person see it, and that person is a decision maker on the rest of your career. That is how good it is that out of that 1,000 people, one person who is a real key person, and things just go up, because that's what social media is. And another example, which is fantastic. There's a film. I can't remember what it was, but it was a cast of 4 women, and it was a really violent film. I think it was a Blumhouse production. And she was a trans actress, and she was founded on Instagram because the director's daughter was watching her, and he wanted to cast somebody who was trans. And she was singing. She was a singer-actress, and I really can't remember her name, unfortunately. I will find it out. But basically she was cast just because of her Instagram.
I can tell you another example of that. So there was an actress called Bethany Black, great actress previously, and I think still is a comedian as well. A few years ago, I was reading in for Andy Pryor, the Doctor Who casting director, who was casting something called Banana and Cucumber that Russell T Davies wrote. It had a huge LGBT and trans theme to it, and they were looking for trans actresses. Back then, this is about 4 or 5 years ago, it wasn't a thing, like in terms of like we hadn't seen this on TV before. Now it's become, more commonplace, much more talked about. The industry's embraced it, but back then they hadn't really. This was quite groundbreaking. There was nowhere like there wasn't a section on Spotlight, for trans actresses or anything like that. There was nowhere to go bar social media. And that's what they were doing. And they were going around, to different communities and stuff on and off social media. But I don't know if Beth was found on social media, but I remember sitting in and reading in for her audition. She ended up getting the part, changed her life. Had she not had a presence when she was out there as a comedian, no one would have been able to discover her. In terms of, she was not discoverable because no one is just like, well, there's nowhere else to look these days. It's not like you can go and just put a postcard up in your local post office. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for a trans actress, I'm here. Social media is everywhere though. So I know there's Andrea on here who's a comedian. She's doing a show soon. It's perfect for you, this Andrea, putting out 60-second clips of you, telling gags and, whatever style of comedy you have on Instagram and that kind of thing. Oh, yeah. Those things can just go massively viral if it's really, really funny. And for everybody, regardless if you're a comedian, I'd love hearing people talking about something that's just happened to him that day that's slightly extraordinary. And things happen all the time to us where you're like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what happened to me today. They're perfect anecdotes and things to share on social media, just to give people an insight to your life, to be vulnerable sometimes, share what's really going on in your life. If you are like, oh God, you know what? you know, I'm having a bit of a dodgy day, right? Phone's not ringing, not quite sure what's going on. But by talking about it a bit, I feel a bit better about it. I can't talk myself tonight. I feel a bit better about it. Just going to put this out there for all those other actors who might be feeling like this. Let's get positive. Let's get, you know, inspired. Let's get motivated. You know, what do you do when you're feeling like this? You know, let's not have like a bitching session where everyone jumps in and goes, "Oh, it's crap, innit?" No, you know, but you can put some content out that's going to inspire other people and just let people know that they're just not on their own. I'll do that sometimes. And people, the amount of comments you get underneath, I'll do that are like, really needed to hear this today. You know, just came at the right time. And it's not some cosmic thing. It's just that actually we're all human and we all feel those things on quite a regular basis. So it's relatable. If your content is relatable, that's really powerful. Andrea said here, she put a first vlog out. And this was a couple of weeks ago, actually, when we were speaking about social media on a previous broadcast I did, Ollie. She said she got 190 views on her first vlog. That's great, Andrea, as well. You know, and you've got to look at this as like 1 is better than 0. When I first started doing these live broadcasts, I've said it so many times, I got like 1 person on in the evening, in the hour, 2 people. Right now, consistently on this broadcast over the last hour, we've had over 50 people on at any one time, 179 comments right now, 51 reactions. You know, that would never have happened previously through, you know, just consistency ultimately and patience and hard work and building this community up. She's got a bit downhearted because on a second video, hardly any views on the follow-ups that she's done, not sure how to get people to watch it. I'll give some advice in a sec, but what would you say? Because this happened to me. I can tell you how I got out of it.
Oh, so how I would do it is...
What would you do?
What would I do is there is a great program. Don't go and get it just yet because we're going to kind of teach this in the course by a guy called Andre Chaperone. And he consulted with script writers in Hollywood about how to bring people back to looking at your content. And the number one thing is cliffhangers. All right, so there's 2 things that I would do. So cliffhangers. So whenever you're doing a vlog, you have to end it on a cliffhanger that makes people want to come back. Why do we watch Stranger Things? And the next episode, and the next episode, and the next episode, and the next episode, cliffhanger after cliffhanger after cliffhanger. And there's also a running storyline all the way through the story. So that's what I would do is those 2 things. I mean, the other thing I would do is also is almost what I think. I'm actually not going to say it because I think this is what Ross does anyway, so I don't want to.
Oh, go on.
Is it the trailer thing that you do?
There is that, and then there's something else that that I've started doing, or that, well, effectively, it's what we're doing right now as well, in a way, and so that's asking the audience actually what they need and what they want.
Yeah, number one thing is find out what the audience wants, which I'll let Ross kind of go into, but the trailer thing is basically where when we're doing, you've got to know the medium that we're putting out. So you've got to know Facebook, you've got to know Instagram, you've got to know Twitter, you've got to know YouTube if you're mainly putting your bigger vlogs on a YouTube channel, which is, we'll probably end up doing a full-blown, complete different day on a YouTube stuff or Vimeo or whatever. But what you want to do is not give the whole thing. You want to be a tease, you want to be a flirt on these smaller platforms to give to the bigger one. So basically, it's almost like a jab, right hook. So you jab with a trailer, you jab with a photo from the show, you know, that kind of thing. And then you point the direction to the traffic to where you want to go. Or if it's coming up, so if you launch on a Monday, on a Thursday, you release a really cool snippet or a photo shot. And then on the Friday, you give maybe a 20-second clip. And on Saturday, you do another 20-second clip that shows a little bit more. So it's, again, edging close to the release on the Monday. So that's what I would do.
Yeah. I completely agree. I was going to say, Andrea, what you've probably done is you've probably put too many out too close together. So you've gone, right, I'm going to put one out. All your friends are like, oh, this is new. What's this about? And they all jump on it and they all watch it. And then if you put one out the next day and the next day after that, people get busy and they're like, oh, okay, this is a 20-minute thing. I don't have time to watch this right now. Maybe I'll watch it later, and they forget. I would put everything I put out, generally speaking, unless it's embargoed, is on a Monday. So I'm like, right, if I've got a new vlog, guys, it's going to be every Monday. I mean, this week it can't be because the next vlog we're putting out is for Dark Money, which actually is airing right now. We can't put that out until next week when the show finishes. But had this not been embargoed, it would have been out today. So I'm like, every single Monday, you get your audience waiting for it. And so that they're, anticipating it. It's got to the point where sometimes, people are like, oh, this is the thing that I do at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning with a piece of cake and a coffee. Every time you put a vlog out, Ross, this is my Monday morning routine. So get consistent. And then if you are going to do that, though, be as consistent as you possibly can be. So it is every Monday, because you'll lose people quite quickly. If you're telling them it's going to be and it is for 3 weeks and then nothing goes out for 4 weeks, you're like, they just think you've given up. But the trailer idea is great. You'll see me posting 60-second trailers of my vlog on Instagram, the same on Twitter. I maybe post a section of it on Facebook, because you can upload a bit more video to Facebook, slightly longer length. Instagram, you can use Instagram TV as well, where you can upload more than you can upload like a 60-second segment to your Instagram profile. Then if people want to watch the rest, they just click a little button underneath and they go to your Instagram TV profile, which is a bit like YouTube on Instagram. We can go into that in the workshop. But yeah, you want to be sending people from the other social media platforms to your vlog. So if that's on Facebook, make sure it's going out on a Facebook page that's public, so that it's not just your friends who see it as well. You can then share it on your Facebook, on your personal profile as well, like we said before. Or if you are going to go personal profile only, open your personal profile up and just friend, 5,000 people within your niche, actors who live in the UK.
If I was doing a vlog and wanted to benefit from it, I would only put it on. So I would tease it on the personal and then put it on the page. And I know I said earlier that I talked about the whole only use personal. But what we're going to remember is, when we are putting so much effort into a piece of content like a vlog, this is not a show reel. This is a vlog, which is completely different to a show reel. We want to collect data from that. So we can't do that on a personal page. And when I say collect data, is basically there's a show count on the back end of Facebook. You can see how many people have watched it and for what percentage they've watched of it. So if they've watched 25%, 50%, 95% of that vlog, then we can serve up ads in the future. So if we've got a show coming up, they've been watching us rehearse for that show and all that kind of stuff and get ready for the show. And then we can show ads to the people that have been watching our vlog. You're going to make sales. It's easy. So that's how I would do it. So tease on personal, and then direct to the place where you know that you can monetize from that and make money from it. And just while I've got everyone's attention, the lady, I don't really want to say her name because I don't know it. Harry Neff on IMDb. And the film was called Assassination Nation. Bit of a dark film. Pretty good though. So take a look at her and read about her story. It's fascinating about how she got founded on social media.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. But yeah, there is ultimately, again, it's just getting people to be aware of the business side of it. Facebook holds an ungodly amount of data on everything all of us are doing on Facebook right now. I could literally go into the back end of Facebook after this broadcast and just see how many people watch this broadcast, for how long they watched it. And then I could serve an advert to everybody who's been here tonight on this broadcast for longer than 50% of this video, because I know that you're highly engaged with what we're putting out. And if I wanted to, we're not going to have to, because this social media masterclass will fill up probably in 10 minutes.
How many people do we know? How many people have signed into the waiting list?
I can see, but yeah, if you want to, if you
have a cheeky look, Ross, go on.
If you want to get on the list, go to, because I've not really only said it once, haven't we? @onthis.tv/social masterclass. Get yourself, just put your email address in and your name, and you'll get on the list. We're only going to have 25 places on this first one, though. I just want to deliver like really, really valuable content, because and we can't do that with like 100 people in the room. Just oh god, right. So there's already 26 people have put their name on the list, but it's just the invites will go. The invites aren't going to go out now or this week. It will be within the next sort of 2 weeks when we've really got the offer together, and I can show you exactly what we're going to be doing. We'll sort out a venue of where it is. It's going to be Manchester. I'd quite like it to be somewhere like Media City, because it's such a cool place. I know loads of people there and loads of the companies there. We get a great room, and we can probably get catered for, depending on how many people are going to be there and stuff.
Can we have Nando's?
Can what? Sorry.
Can we have Nando's?
I don't think there is. Oh no, there is a Nando's in Media City. Yeah, there is. It's over by the Ollie's a Nando's freak. It's over by the Lowry Outlet Mall, isn't it? So we could do as a after treat for those who want to stay around. But I just want to keep people in. Obviously we'll have like an hour break for lunch or something like that. But I just want to keep people together. And I want people who are going to be doing this. We're going to be making you take action. So if you've never done a Facebook Live before, for instance, we're going to get people. You're not going to have to do like a performance or anything weird. I just want to show you how you do it, the mechanics of it. We'll get you to go live to your followers, to your friends at the moment, just going, hey, never done this before, I'm shitting my pants, but want to say hello to everybody, going to be doing a bit more of this, going to be showing you behind the scenes of my acting career, what I'm doing in and out of my business, with my family, all this kind of stuff. Ultimately, just to grow engagement, how you do that on Twitter, how you go live on Periscope, how you can repurpose content from one platform to another. So you record a video, that's a long form video for YouTube, how you can take snippets of that and edit that down for Instagram and, get multiple. This is what I do with this broadcast tonight. You lot are watching it live as a video. The replay of the video goes up on YouTube tomorrow. It goes out as an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify for those who couldn't be here. People are like worried about, how can I create all these pieces of content? Create one good piece of content and repurpose that in lots of different places. You don't have to create, thousands of pieces of content all at once. You can be quite clever with your time and what you are doing to give people the most value from that one piece. But yeah, actonthis.tv/social masterclass. If you want to get on the priority invite list and just, we'll crush this. It's like the stuff that like I say, that Ollie has shown me, it's blown my mind in the last 4-5 weeks in terms of going how applicable. I'm using it in the business for Acts on This right now, but it's so applicable to your acting career. And also just, is anyone here who has a business on the side? Like they're trying to grow a business that's nothing to do with acting, that's the thing that they would love to be doing alongside acting to free up their time so they can, ultimately live on their own terms?
You watch, we'll create a load of social media agencies out of this.
All these people, we'll start setting up social media agencies, definitely. Get Costa to sponsor you for your coffee cup, says Janet. Yeah, definitely should. That's something I should do with social media. Get Costa
the reason why I want to be an actor is to get a black card at Nando's. Yeah,
exactly. Linda says, what chance have we got for the masterclass if you've got 26 people already? They're only on the waiting list, Linda. So what will happen to make this fair for everybody is I will send an email out to the priority list telling you when tickets will go on sale. It'll be like you'll get a 24-hour notice period. So, if it was going on sale on a Friday morning at 10 o'clock or whatever, I'll send you lot an email on the Thursday afternoon saying, listen, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm going to send you another email with a link to book this workshop. And then it's up to you to be around at 10 o'clock of the next morning and just get on and just book it. But I don't want to, don't want people to feel bad if they don't get on this. This is the initial one, and just kind of like a bit, this is the test, the beta one. You'll be helping us. What, Ollie?
It might not happen again. We don't know. It all depends how it's received.
Well, it depends how this one goes. Yeah, but I would like to do. We can't do them every month. There's absolutely no way. Just from time constraints in my own career. But I would like to do this. 2 or 3 times a year at least. So there will, and also, what we might be able to do. I don't know. I have to look at the logistics of this. It's a tough one actually. This, but might be able to film parts of it. And then allow people to, get a digital copy effectively, be able to buy that at some point. I don't want to devalue it for the people in the room though. So you can't give that away. Yeah, that would have to be a paid thing. If people are going to pay to be there, I can't just film it and give it away afterwards.
Yeah. Can we take we got enough time for another question or two?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. Yeah. What have you seen?
I haven't seen one.
Oh, right. Okay. Look at that. Ollie's just wanting to give extra value at 10:05. Let's do that. Anyone got any other questions that's specific to them? Something they're struggling with on social media?
There's got to be a good 2 questions there.
Let's have a look. And one in London. We could have a look at that, Bernard. Yeah, because obviously that's going to add significantly to your cost, isn't it? Coming up for the you need your train. You wouldn't need to stay over. It's only a 1-day event, but train ticket might cost you £75 extra to get up here.
You book it nice and early, you get a cheap one, or get a coach.
Get on the 5 o'clock coach, Bernard. It's about £3.50, but it's a hell of a ride. We can have a look at that again. I can't promise. This is just something that we only decided to do this on Saturday because so many people had emailed me since that last time I spoke about social media on here 2 weeks ago, and I've just had so many emails from people, genuinely from people saying, I'm afraid of social media, don't know how to use it, and they're frustrated, and the frustration makes them write it off, and they resent it because I don't get it. We didn't need this growing up. Oh, forget it. Do you know what? That's something I want people to understand as well. Social media doesn't exist, right? There are just people. When people give social media a bad name, go, oh, it's full of negativity. It's full of this, full of that. No, it's not. It's just full of people. And people forever, since time began, have been negative. There's always been those people in society. They would have been the ones who were just, chewing your ear off down the pub 25 years ago, where, just moaning about everything. Or there'd be the people writing the negative newspaper articles, or the media, or the people you're watching on the news, all this sort of stuff. Social media is completely neutral. It ultimately, is just a thing. It's the people that use it. And if you're looking down your Twitter feed and all you're seeing is negativity, you're following the wrong shit. Unfollow all of those people who just fill your feed up with nonsense. Every single one of them. Ignore them on Facebook. You don't have to defriend them. There's an ignore thing on Facebook now. All this sort of stuff. There is no social media. There's just people, and it's down to the people whether they use it for good or they use it for bad. And it's such an incredible tool if you want to use it for good.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Alison says, have to go. Got to be up really early, but thanks. No problem, Alison. Anyone got one last question? Ollie wants one last question before we go.
I would like two. I don't know if you've got to be off, but
okay. No, it's fine. Lowry says I can't find the page. Once again, it's actonthis.tv/social masterclass. All one word. actonthis.tv/social masterclass. And you just drop. There's nothing to like, no tickets to buy yet or anything like that. You just drop your email in, and when this becomes available, we'll send it out. Do you block abusive people on social media? Says Kevin. What's your advice on that one, Ollie? Do you reach out to them like I do with that guy with a bit of love, or do you just block them and delete them?
Yeah.
It's personal, isn't it? It's a personal question, really. I guess it's different for everybody. What do you do?
Yeah, Kevin, I would personally just remove them from my life. What would we do if somebody come up to our face and did that? We knock
them out. I'm joking. Don't promote violence. I've never had a fight in my life. I'm an absolute wuss. Never had a fight in my life.
Yeah, I'm the same as Ross. Yeah, I would literally just. We were talking about this. It's block. Essentially, it's just block, remove, comment, and move on.
Block, remove, comment. This is an interesting question. It's something I myself, as a bit of a OCD style, like perfectionist in a way, and something I've really had to have a word with myself about at times. On Instagram, on your profile, how important is it to curate a theme on your Instagram grid? So do you mean in terms of like, so what I do is I post video, picture, video, picture, video, picture. And when I don't have a video, I post a quote instead, because it's a static piece of like, text, just to give it a nice pattern. I know it's ridiculous because people are mostly consuming your feed like singular, in terms of just a singular post. One thing I do hate is when you get actors, and I think this is a really shit tactic. And if you're doing this, doesn't matter, but don't do it. I don't like it anyway. They'll get one of those pieces of software that breaks up their headshot into 24 different squares, and then they post it one at a time on their Instagram. So when you look at their Instagram like wall, it creates the full image. But then what you ended up doing is you flooded your friend's feed with tiny little squares of like, one will have your ear on it, one will be completely black. It's bullshit. You just go unfollow. That's just nonsense. I don't like that. And then also as well, when you're posting other stuff, it all gets out of order anyway. So it just looks rubbish. Yeah.
So no is the answer, but it's like a no, yes. I did see the question. It's a long answer, but in the short, it's a no, yes. And the no to what Ross has said, yes to a theme. It's always important to have a theme. And that theme is essentially what we already talked about, is like, progression in life is a thing that we all want to see. So in progression in your newsfeed is also in Instagram what we want to see. So, have you gone from I don't know, like brown belts to black belts, but have you gone from a brown belt to a black belt, and you're creating a story on that feed? And there is a theme. Have you been going to an acting workshop, and is it a 4-week one and you've gone weekly, and is there updates through there, and people want to see that. So yes, you want to create a theme, but not in the type of theme that I think you mean, of basically what Ross has said. Just the personal wise, I don't really like it. Yes, it stands out for like 10 seconds, but I won't follow you or do anything. And we'd probably have to ask a casting director that question, to be honest.
Honestly, no one gives a shit about the order of stuff. It used to cripple me, and to a certain extent now, if I didn't have the amount of content I'm producing, I wouldn't be able to keep an actual theme going in terms of like, picture video, because it just becomes like crippling. Like if I don't have one, I can't post. If you look at any of the really big accounts, when you look at some of the, go and look at Gary Vaynerchuk's page, got like 2 million followers or more, maybe even more than that. and it's an absolute mess. But when you see the posts individually, they're brilliant posts. No one cares. The content is so good. No one gives a shit what it looks like.
Yeah, look at Chris Pratt, Henry Cavill, Dwayne Johnson, you know, Salma Hayek. Just check out those 4. There is no theme.
Yeah. Alex is saying pathways to building audiences in an organic but relevant way, especially on Instagram, plausible timelines. There's a thing, right? People about, let's get realistic on how quickly and you know, you can build a following. And also, you know, like what are the realistic numbers that, you know, that you need to get to in terms of actually to be able to have an impact on your life and your career? Because like I said before, you only do need that one person who's following you, who's in a position to give you the opportunity. Don't get crippled by vanity and metrics about going, oh, I have some girl the other day, I told you about this. I told you, Ollie. She had 2.6 or 2.3 million followers on Instagram. She was launching a clothing line. It's called Era. You can Google it if you want. She needed to sell 36. She needed to sell 36 t-shirts or whatever it was to make a run of the clothing. The production company was like, look, you know, we need you to at least do 36 of these or we can't print them. And she couldn't get out of 2.3 million people 36 orders. I've got like a couple of thousand people, and there's 40. Ultimately, look at that, right? There's been probably, I don't know, 250 people come through this broadcast tonight. And we were only looking, you know, for like, we've got well over 36 people who have put their name on the waiting list for this workshop. When your content is good and it gives value to people and you're interacting with your audience, and, you know, I hope you lot all think, you know, I'm all right and I kind of give out good value, good content, and people will engage with what you're doing. You don't need to. 2.3 million didn't work for that girl.
So she clearly not like created know, like, and trust. If she had 1,000 fans, they would have just purchased straight away. And she would have had 1,000 sales, not the 26 she wanted. Like, everybody would have purchased. Here's the other thing. What we're selling as actors is, we're not selling, you know, a t-shirt. We're not selling a service. You know, we're not selling a business. We're selling ourselves. And to get people to know, like, and trust us is actually really easy. And it's basically just be yourself. Like, I am right now not pretending to be anyone else but me. You know that I'm an actor. You know that I love acting. You know that I love Nando's. You know that I love social media. And you already know, like, that. I can guarantee some people have gone, I actually don't think I like Ollie. And I'm fine with that. I'm not actually, but...
I didn't like you when I first met you. I'm joking.
I could tell, Ross. I could tell. And then you checked out the social profile and you were like, he looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that was it. I went, oh, okay, let's check his Instagram. Right, I'll be your friend then. Fine.
But yeah, it's basically like, we are trying to get people to literally side with us. And I'll quote my wife. I quite oddly like some Nicolas Cage films, but she doesn't. Not everyone likes Nicolas Cage. Okay. I love Kevin Costner, for instance. I don't know why. I just absolutely love everything he's done, even Waterworld. But not everybody likes Kevin Costner. And it's the same with social media. Some people will like you and some people won't. And when people really like you and really buy into you and buy into the fact that you like Nando's, or buy into the fact that, you know, you drink Costa coffee at 7 p.m. at night, you know, all these little things, like, people start to pick up on. And then when you do a t-shirt saying, I like coffee at 7 p.m. and, like, you want to make a few quid, like, there's the opportunity.
I mean, who would buy a t-shirt if I brought it out that said "bye for now"? On the back of it said "bye for now." So every time you walked out of an audition, like, it was playing on the front, so the casting director didn't see it. But on the back it said "bye for now." I'd buy one.
That's awesome. See, this is living proof right now of what we're talking about. Is that I've just given Ross an idea. Did you have that idea before?
Something that somebody said to me at the weekend as a joke, but I thought maybe it'd be funny.
So yeah, but it's perfect. Like, but that's how he's monetizing in a way that you wouldn't. But essentially, it's the same thing. He's literally just going, oh, this is pretty funny, you know, and he just goes and create it. But, like, if someone's liking your stuff, enjoying it, and it's a movement, it's a quote or whatever, and then you go, oh, these tickets are for sale, are they going to purchase? Yes.
Gary Vaynerchuk brought out some trainers with K-Swiss, and these last pair of trainers, the theme of it was positivity and optimism, two things that I live by. And he'd given me so much value. I'd met him in person. He'd emailed me a few times, and I watched all of his content, and it's really changed the way my outlook on life, to be honest. He's launched 3 pairs of trainers so far in the UK. I've bought a pair of each of them. I've never even worn them. They're in the wardrobe, but I'm like, I just feel compelled to give this guy something back because he's given so much to me on social media. So I bought that. My artwork you've seen in my flat, 2 pieces of that were Gary Vaynerchuk's. One of them says positivity always wins. The other one says do shit you love. There's another guy called Tom Bilyeu who runs a company called Quest Nutrition, or used to. He sold it for $1 billion or more. There's a piece of artwork he's done that says mindset is everything. These people who, reciprocity is a real thing. When you give lots and lots of value to the world, people will, want to work with you, will want to hang out with you, will want to give you opportunities, collaborate with you. That's another thing as well that we haven't covered tonight. And we won't have time now, but maybe something we can look at in the workshop is collaborating with other people. So you go, okay, well, Andrew, you've got 190 people watching your vlog, and someone else, Bobby on Air, might have 190 people watching his vlog. Well, okay, how do we up our subscriptions, to each of our channels? Why don't we do a piece together and post it to each of our channels, and then you can then let your audience know about each other. So then you bring more people to the party. That's something that I used to always struggle with, because I was like, I want to have control of everything. And I want to be, I want to make sure everything's legitimate, and I don't want to bring anyone on who might, something they might have done in the past I don't know about, and then it tarnishes my reputation. That's just because I was a control freak. What I've been doing recently is very much more collaborative in terms of other people in the industry who are running, workshops and running their own companies. Or, I had Natalie Payne around last night, great agent. She's written a book recently. I'm like, you know what? It's called An Agent's Perspective. I'll release a podcast in a couple of weeks. Fantastic book, and she's a fantastic agent. But I was like, you know what? Natalie's always putting out quality into the community and into the world. She was one of the first people who did a podcast with me, in 2011. And I'm like, no, you know what? The right thing to do is to promote her book, because it's really good. It's really valuable. It doesn't take anything away from anything that I'm doing. Doesn't step on anybody's toes. Let's get her on, and let's try and get as many actors as possible to buy a book, because I know it's going to give value. And then what happens is all of her clients will then see that interview. All of my people in the tribe and Acts on This will see the book, and we both get value from that. So collaborations are powerful as well.
Yeah, and I think doing something similar to this as well is really important for people to do, and just let it's insight. People want to know, it's like personal training. When I say I used to be a personal trainer to people, our gyms had 500 clients, I had an email list of 14,000 people, I'm really well known in Birmingham for what we did. And still people remind me every day of how great we were and the team that we had and all that, blah, 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 all that stuff. But they see personal trainer and they put you up on a pedestal. It's a bit weird, but it's the same as being an actor. It's either really odd, or it's just so many people are, I wish I did something like that. So by giving them insights between 2 chats as an actor, for us, it's normal, everyday stuff, what we do. But for them, it's not. They want to see us with those lines. They want to see us with, rehearsing. They want to see all those cool little things. And that inside, and people just love seeing. People love to escape. Hence, why we're doing what we do. We create content to help people escape, and I mean that by movies and theatre and TV. That's escapism, and we're just doing it on the smaller screen now. And that, when I say smaller screen, I mean the phone.
The phone is TV. It is TV now,
and I don't want to call it. I've been quite nice, but if you are scared of this, but you want to be an actor, but you're scared of this, you need to look at things a little bit differently, because you know where I'm going with this. It's
ultimately, you walk on a set and there's 25 people there. As a director, this famous actor you're working opposite, and everyone's looking at you to deliver, and you're actually scared to go live on your phone to 3 of your friends. You're going to struggle in that environment.
Yeah. So you can turn the lights out, mate. Don't worry. You can turn the lights out. They're trying to kick me out of my own apartment.
Kick you out.
We have a concierge here. Oh, it's all nice and moody now. We have a concierge here for 20, because it's Birmingham. People get stabbed all the time.
Oh God! Right. Okay. Well, hopefully, there'll be none of that going on. Let's see what other.
There was a question that somebody posted. I don't think it was a question; it was more of a statement, and I just want to kind of change it really. It was about hashtags. So somebody put, I don't know what, let me find out the post. Give me a sec. I've removed it. I don't know. I don't know where it's gone. But somebody put like, I post 79 hashtags every day. I don't know what you meant by that.
Oh
but
no, I'll tell you what this is. So right, so Ricky, actually, this was something that was quite cool. He posted, because people were like, right, I don't know what to post on each day. Is there a theme or something that could, give me inspiration about what to post? Like we have Throwback Thursday, Motivation Monday, Wisdom Wednesday, all this sort of thing. Ricky just posted a list of 79 different like examples of that to go, listen, here's something for like each day of multiple months or whatever that you might just use as inspiration if you're like, I don't know what to post today. Something like that. Yeah, you wouldn't post 79 hashtags on one post. That's ridiculous. But
I'll improve that the best way I can.
Go.
You have to make it relevant to the theme that you are doing. So if it's like a Throwback Thursday, but then you click on Throwback Thursday, and let's say, for instance, that Throwback Thursday has 1 million hashtags, you are never going to trend in that hashtag. And the whole point of a hashtag is to boost your algorithm. All right. So I wouldn't use that hashtag. So whenever you're going to use a hashtag, make sure it's in a relatively low, like between 1,000 to 10,000 hashtags. So you're looking for the really rare hashtags, and then you'll start trending in that hashtag. And then when people see you trend in that hashtag, that's when you gain followers from your hashtags. So
what he means in terms of the 10,000 hashtags, it means basically if you went on Instagram and you searched for a hashtag in Instagram,
what's the Actors Life one that everyone talks about?
It's millions. It's in the millions. So you wouldn't really want to use that because you'd struggle to trend in that because so many people are using that hashtag. The only place I see right now where that is different, where I will trend for words like acting and words like podcast, is LinkedIn, because it's massively underused by our industry. Instagram, is very, very difficult. So you'd want to choose a hashtag that only has maybe like 10,000, 15,000 posts under that hashtag, because then you're going to show up in the Discover tab within Instagram. Again, you don't be overwhelmed by this. We'll show you in the workshop what we mean by this. But it's another way for you to organically be discovered without using something that's oversaturated. You don't want to use. Also now, I used to, and lots of people used to recommend people using the maximum number of hashtags you're allowed on Instagram. I've noticed that the algorithm's changed on that, and so is people's advice on it in terms of using, 3 or 4 quality hashtags is better than using 30. You're allowed 30 on a post on Instagram. I see some of the big boys literally posting 3, 4, 5, 6 tops, hashtags. You never see Gary Vaynerchuk posting 30 hashtags on a post, even though you can have up to 30 in a post. It's better to go for quality than depth rather than width, basically. But there's all kinds of stuff, and it's it changes all the time as well. That's the thing. Rachel says LinkedIn is naff. Rachel, it's because you don't know. If you've not used it, LinkedIn right now, what are the results like that we're getting on LinkedIn, Ollie? Awesome. And it's because it's ridiculous. It's changed a lot in the last 2 years. Facebook right now, LinkedIn right now is like Facebook 2012. It's become a real content platform. It's no longer a place where you just get people in white collars looking for jobs in business. It's changed so much. Again, you know what? LinkedIn would be a different workshop in itself. Would be completely separate, I think, because there's so much depth there to it now.
This is why we're going to do the workshop, to help you understand the medium, and when you understand what the company is trying to get at, then you unlock straight away the understanding of how to use it. So we know that Facebook is a pay-to-play method, but there's more leverage on personal profile, and we can leverage that really easily. But then LinkedIn is becoming a pay-to-play method, but it's so cheap on a pay-to-play platform, it's really, really easy. But as a networking device, it's incredible. And again, you are literally probably like 5 or 6 friends away from a really influential decision in your life. So then that's where that content is really important. Same goes for Instagram. But Instagram is what Facebook was 5 years ago. So playing at the game, I could post up on Instagram on Facebook page 5, 6 years ago when I had my business, and I would gain 1 or 2 clients for every post I would put. That would never happen nowadays. But on Instagram, the leverage is incredible and people aren't using it.
Can't tell you how underutilized LinkedIn as well. It's so honestly, and on LinkedIn, you really are only like 2 or 3 connections away from a really big director, writer, producer, casting director. So many people in this industry are on it, and so many actors are a bit basic, and they only look at gatekeepers as casting directors. It's absolutely not true. They're not the only people who can give you opportunities in this industry. You can, to a point, completely bypass them depending on what you're doing and what kind of projects you're working on. LinkedIn is honestly, it's changed so much. It's an incredible platform. We're going to go in a second. Last question. Alex says, quick thoughts on shadow banning. For those who don't know what shadow banning is, it's ultimately where your posts will be blocked by the platform. So Instagram will stop sharing your post with anybody outside your friends list, so that you're undiscoverable, generally through you being a bit naughty with the rules, spamming, using bots, buying likes, buying followers. I mean, what's your experience of it, Ollie?
I was in the middle of reading a question that was kind of similar to that. My experience is, I think I was going to say it's a myth. It's not a myth, but if you're just doing bad shit, it's going to happen. And we're not going to teach you to do bad stuff. So yeah.
Just don't cheat. Ultimately, just don't cheat. That's just the work. You can put a load of work in, get a few hundred, a couple of thousand followers, and then you can start getting greedy, start utilizing these, they call them white hat and black hat. White hat's where you're doing everything, good. And then you've got, kind of like these dodgy tactics. And these platforms are clever. They know when you're doing shit. They know when you suddenly buy, you go from 3 followers to 15,000 followers overnight. That cannot possibly happen without either something major happening in your life and you going viral, or generally 99% of the time you've gone and you've dropped $50 on buying these fake accounts, and it just screws up. It also, what that does, it screws up all of your metrics for life in terms of the insights and the back end. And actually being able to see what content is resonating and what's working. If you've got 50,000 fake followers who aren't engaging with any of your content, it just screws up all your numbers. Just don't cheat. Don't fall into the vanity of it.
So the old school version of this, and I always look at history. History teaches, and in marketing, teaches us an awful lot. So when email marketing was a really big thing back in the 90s, you'd send out an email and 90% of so if you send out 100 emails, 90 people would see that 100 people would get the email, 90 people would open it, and probably around about 50 would purchase if you were selling something, right? Now it's 20% would open an email. So what people started doing in the 90s, because it was so easy, they would buy email lists. Obviously it's completely illegal now, you can't do it, but you'd buy email lists, send out an email, and you'd make sales. It's the same thing as happened in social media, where they buy likes or they buy followers. And it's luckily these social media companies have just gone, no, and a lot of these are fake accounts anyway, but it's what you have to understand is that this is about building a relationship, know, like, and trust. And if you watch any major new actor coming in, even though we know that they're the tip of the iceberg when we say new, they've had a career for 10, 15 years, what the production companies and the movie studios in the marketing do is they break them in slowly. They get us to know, like, and trust them by putting them Graham Norton, by putting them on Jonathan Ross, by putting them on the shows to get them to know, like, and trust you. This is the same version, but on the small screen. And we can only do that with real people.
Yeah, and also just realize that most people in here, you're going to be alive for at least another 30, 40 years. You've got a lot of time to build this. You don't have to do it overnight.
Be patient, be real patient. One more question, which is quite a quick answer. So again, I'm really sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, but Brockleberry?
Alex Brockleberry, not his real name.
Okay, so his name's Alex. So Alex, he says, Ollie, pathways to building audiences in an organic but relevant way, especially on Instagram. Plausible timelines, best practices, bait and switch questions. I find that pictures of my face generate more likes, alternate likes, real life shit way less. Are people just fickle? You've got to test. This is the thing that me and Ross just constantly do at the minute, is we are testing everything, and literally just be willing to post something. So funny story with one of Rossi's posts that we did, I checked it. I was in the gym. I think he was in the gym as well. And I saw this post, and it had 1 or 2 comments, and it was 15 minutes in. And I literally commented on Ross. I was like, mate, pull the plug. And that basically means that take the post down.
You want me to delete it and post it again later on when more people could have been looking for it or looking at it?
Yeah. And then, but I added another yes. It was a yes post that we did, and we'll teach you all about that another time. But it basically, I added a comment, and then I think 2 other people did, and then it just went bang, and it turned into like 400 comments. It went so viral, it was ridiculous. And then
it got to the point where I got banned. I got banned temporarily from Facebook from replying to comments because they thought I was spamming. It ended up with nearly 700 comments from you lot, and then I ended up having to reply to each of those. And I got told from Facebook, you can't post anything for the rest of the day.
Yeah. So basically, it's like it's being willing to fail, and we all know that as actors anyway. Be whether they're on stage, on TV, or whatever. And every take is in theory could be different, and be willing to fail at every take. And it's the same with Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's just like, be willing to put something out that just might bomb, that might get 1 like. You can always pull it down. So if you know that, like, for instance, I know without fail, if I post a picture of me and my wife, it gets 10, 20, 30 likes. Now, that's not why I do it. There is a reason why I post with me and my wife, but it just is guaranteed to get likes. So I know that's one type of post. So you've just got to find that content has already been posted, and it won't like it. So it won't boost the algorithm. So if you're repurposing content without repurposing it properly, it won't be good. So if you've only got 2 headshots and you just keep posting those 2 headshots, look back to the first time you posted it, to the last time you posted it, and I guarantee the first time you posted it was pretty good and the last time was bad, if your followers are the same or less.
And also what I've realized as well, and something that I used to do all the time and now I don't do, is I would post a piece of content for the acting community. I'd post it in the Acts on This Facebook group, and I'd post it on the page, and then I would copy and paste the copy to other acting groups at the same time. So it might go out in 3 or 4 groups, the exact same copy. Facebook's like, nah, man, you're just posting the same thing. It's spam. So I spread those posts out, but not only do I spread them out now, I now change the intros to them. So I'm like addressing the particular group. I'm spinning the intro so that it's different to what it was on my own group or on the Acts on This Facebook page. I know a lot of people here do that. They post the exact same thing. And that's why your reach is it doesn't just take the reach out on one group. It just basically slaps the whole thing away and just goes, nah, it's just spam.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people will be falling down at as well. And this stuff changes all the time. The algorithms change like a lot, and and engagement in general. I saw a guy, a social media guy today, who runs a huge company called Social Chain. That overall engagement on Instagram is down anyway right now, and this is just because stuff's changing behind the scenes that hasn't been announced yet. And things, they will reward things differently over time depending on how they feel. They can change it at any point.
Yeah.
So what works today might not necessarily work tomorrow. So you've always got to be testing stuff, like Ollie said.
Yeah.
Man, I know you want to go on, but this has been like it's 25 to 11. I've got an audition in the morning. I've got to wrap it up. But thanks, man. Ollie, thanks for being here. Guys. Listen. I'm so excited about this workshop. What we're going to do. First thing I've ever done in person, really. And I know we can teach you guys so much in. Like I said, we're going to go at least 8-10 hours on this. atsonthis.tv/social masterclass. atsonthis.tv/social masterclass. Get on the priority invite list, and the minute we know exactly what's going on, you'll get an email to tell you when tickets will go on sale, and then you'll know exactly at what point you'll be able to get involved with it. But thanks everyone for being here. I have 312 comments tonight from people. Really appreciate it. Thanks Rachel, thanks Steve. When I post a podcast, I only copy and paste. Got to stop that, Steve. Something I was doing just until 2-3 weeks ago. Again, it's just being,
it's just the basics. Like, we will teach you the basics. That is probably one of the first things that we'll go through. But don't do literally, you get the basics right, and straight away your stuff just becomes more viral naturally.
Yeah, definitely, because no one is really doing the basics. So, and you think that would be obvious. Don't just copy and paste stuff, but it's just not, is it? Like, it's
a disease on social media because people see people do it and they think that's the thing to do.
Yeah. But yeah, you've got to do things differently to stand out a bit. Listen, I hope it's been useful. If you listen on the audio experience, get yourself over again at atsonthis.tv/social masterclass. Get on that waiting list. It's going to be in August, sometime August 2019. And then if it goes well and people like it, I'm sure I can convince Ollie to do another one before Christmas. We'll get another one in before the end of the year, fingers crossed. I don't know where it's going to be, if they'll both have to be in Manchester, or whether we'll be able to do one down south. It'll all depend on.
We could do Central. We could always do Birmingham.
He lives in Best because you live there, innit? We could do one around your apartment, basically. Save on room hire.
Did you not? They have a conference room here.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, literally up those stairs, down there. conference
His
room.
apartment block. That's amazing. We don't have that in my apartment block. Well, maybe we'll do one central. We'll do one in Manchester to test it, and then we'll do one in central, so it's fair to Manchester and London. People can just meet in the middle. But thanks.
You might be moving to London, so I just forgot.
God.
So yeah, sorry.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you, Sharon. Says great tips tonight. Thanks so much, Ross. Andrew says, Ollie, there's a naked fella behind you. What is there? Hopefully there isn't.
There really was.
Oh, right. Andrew says, thanks, guys. Amazing tonight. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, got a couple of castings this week. Got a great casting on. Got a great one tomorrow. I've got like probably one of the biggest castings I've had on Friday. I'll tell you about it next week, depending on how it goes. That's something I can post on social media afterwards, though. I can tell you what I've learned from that. That's another useful thing. That's quality value for the people. Going, listen, I've had this. This is what worked for me. This is what didn't. That's what everybody can do. We'd be doing, documenting their careers, exactly what they're doing. I know as an actor, I'd love to hear about a bit of a debrief from someone about how their audition went and what they learned from it. I think we can all learn something from that. But yeah, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Going to go now, but we'll be back next Monday night. No idea what we're going to be talking about. 9 p.m. on the Facebook page and the Facebook group. Act on this Facebook page and Facebook group, which is at facebook.com/Act on this TV and facebook.com/groups/Act on this TV. Recorded some incredible podcasts over on the main site, actonthis.tv. Recently, I've got a couple coming out. I've got a roundtable with Rob James Collier from Downton Abbey and Ackley Bridge. He was joined by Jordan Hogg, the director of Ackley Bridge. We did a little phone-in, an Ackley Bridge phone-in, not about the show, but like about how you would get to work on a show like that, what Rob's learned from it. Loads of questions were asked from the actors who phoned in. That's going to be out next. Oh, maybe it's the week after next, but next week we've got the Dark Money Roundtable with the casting director Victor Jenkins, who cast Dark Money, that started tonight. It's also on BBC One tomorrow night, and then it finishes next. I think it's on next Monday and Tuesday. It's like a four-part. Is it a three-part? It's a four-parter. Did a roundtable with Victor Jenkins, the casting director from that, Lewis Arnold, the director from that, and Jill Halfpenny, who stars in it. That's going to be out the minute the final episode finishes, because we talk about the program within that, so I can't put it out beforehand. Natalie Payne, the agent phone-in, is going to be out again this month. Got so much great content. Get over and get your membership at actonthis.tv. And actually, you ought to join now because the way the content's going and the stuff that we're going to be doing, I can't tell you about yet. The price of the membership will go up at some point this year. Not for you lot who are already a member, though. If you're already a member and you have locked in at £10 a month, that's all you will ever pay as long as you keep your subscription active. So that means keeping your card details up to date on the site. If it lapses and fails, can't really do anything about that. But the price will go up later this year. It's still going to be a total bargain, but it's going to be dearer than £10 a month. So if you want to get in now and just basically lock yourself in at that price, get yourself a membership. But all you guys who are existing members will not pay anymore. Don't worry about that. Want to look after them, Ollie. Don't want to, that'd be well out of order.
Rob,
but awesome.
I really need a pee, mate. Jeez, come on.
Right, I'm going. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch up with you soon. Ollie, you can do the little countdown with me, the catchphrase that we're going to get printed on the back of a T-shirt. In 3, 2, 1, what do we say?
Bye for now.
Bye for now. Yes.
Bye for now.